Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we have big changes to Retribution and Paladin talents. We're going to focus on the Retribution talents coming in midnight, just released today. The alpha is out tomorrow. Now I'm not going to lie guys, I actually did a whole video already that I did not upload because I found this article which was actually way better. But basically the talents were basically like data mined ahead of time, but they didn't have any icons or anything like that. They just had the tooltips. So I already know about most of this stuff, but this article actually provides a lot more context to it. So I'm going to redo the video basically going through the article instead of the talent trees. You'll see the talent tree image from the Wowhead thing on the thumbnail of this video, but let's go through this now and talk about these changes coming. And I already went through all of them, so I should be pretty well versed in this. But most importantly, we have a developer's note here. So presumably the developer that works on Ret. As we head into midnight, we're taking a close look at a couple things such as how Retribution Paladin generates holy power, the amount of spells needed to cast for setup, the hero talent balance, and design of the third gate in the spec tree. Currently, we feel the choices in the third gate are too limiting, forcing players to choose between single target and AoE effectiveness with little flexibility. This is, Divine Arbiter versus Searing Glare or whatever it's called. To address this, we're redesigning some abilities while removing some others. The most impactful change happening with Execution Sentence and Final Reckoning. So this is something that was not apparent by just looking at the talent tree. In Midnight, we've decided to combine these two abilities into one powerful ability that is useful in both AoE and in single target situations. For Holy Power generation, and so what this means is it's just Execution Sentence now, but while you're AoEing, that AoE damage that you're doing, at least to a certain amount of targets, is getting funneled into that single target. So we are prio damage monsters now. If there's more than we are funnel, right? Everyone talks about funnel. We now have funnel. This is good. This is a huge good change. And funnel in the one ability. For Holy Power generation, we're looking for the amount of passive into the amount of passive effects. A key focus here is Crusading Strikes. While it serves Retribution well in some areas, over time it has become an invisible passive Holy Power generator that's difficult to track and lacks meaningful interaction. So in the talent tree, this was evident. They are removing Crusader Strike auto attack, and they redesigned how Templar Strikes works. You're basically going to take Templar Strikes, but it doesn't work anything like it does now. It's a new ability. We're shifting emphasis towards Templar Strikes. Another important change will be coming to Divine Resonance with the aim of giving players more agency and clarity of their Holy Power generation. Going back to the amount of spell casts, one change we would like to address is Divine Hammer. We know many enjoyed its interactions with Templar hero talents, which we've talked about a lot. But on the other hand, many found it stressful to manage on top of other abilities such as Execution Sentence and Midnight. I mean, I don't think many people found that stressful with approachability, but some people didn't like the talent. I think that's fair to say. We decided to find a different place for Divine Hammer in the Templar Hero talent tree. So I found this. And okay, so in the video that I made before this, I was like, Divine Hammer's not here. They put it in the Templar tree, because if they do, I'm taking all the credit for that, because that's what I suggested to do, to make Divine Hammer still work with Templar and just put it in the Templar tree. So if everyone likes this, you just give me the credit for it. If everyone hates this, I am way too small of a creator. It has nothing to do with me. But if everyone loves it, give me all the credit. As a key AoE component, this change will allow us to be more flexible with tuning of Empyrean Hammers and Hammer of Light, and find a healthier balance between Herald of the Sun and Templar hero talent trees. While also, and so this is my feedback. This is your guys' feedback. Your points do get across to the devs. Just always try to be polite and smart with your feedback. We're also exploring ways to make Art of War and Righteous Cause feel more impactful and distinct, while shifting more power back to Holy Power spenders like Final Verdict and Divine Storm to reinforce their importance in the rotation. So Art of War, Righteous Cause feel more impactful and distinct. Okay. Apex talent. So these are not. I was not thrilled with these when I looked at them at the talent tree. Let's see if there's more context here. Damage of your next blade of justice by 100%. Grants you Art of War, Righteous Cause. So it's kind of like a Blessing of Anchi proc for Herald of the Sun. When your Art of War procs, you're going to want to press it because you want it to proc again and press it again. That's the idea. Avenging Wrath further increases damage of Final Verdict Divine Storm by 20%. So yeah, that's a lot. So a lot of the damage missing from the tree now is probably going to be baked into this. Art of War further empowers Blade of Justice to unleash a wave of holy energy. So this is the thing I wasn't too thrilled of. So your Art of War empowers your Blade of Justice. So when you press it, right? So you get your Art of War proc. You want to press it, especially now, right? So now like Blade of Justice becomes like your main ability. I don't know. I don't like that personally. Dealing holy damage to its primary target and holy damage to all enemies in its path. So it's like a blade shattering the ground. I like the visual for it will probably be cool. It'll probably be like a blade coming from the ground and like creating like a this is just a guess, right? But then like creating like a fault line behind it that does damage. That's what I think it'll probably do. But I don't know, man. I like the idea of that, but I just don't know if I want my main like ability to be Blade of Justice. Execution Sense is redesigned. We already talked about that. Divine, and I'll talk about it really quick again. It's 10 seconds now instead of 8, and you do not extend it to 12. It's just a flat 10 seconds. 10% of holy damage you deal to all targets affected by the initial blast during that time. Now a 1 minute cooldown. So it's not like damage over a time, right? So if your Divine Storm's burning them, that doesn't get calculated. It's just the initial hit of the Divine Storm. Divine Resonance has been updated. Divine Toll causes your next judgment to cast again at 100% effectiveness. So yeah, that's weird. So you don't have the free holy power from Divine Resonance anymore, which means you might not even take it. It'll depend on what the damage of judgment is. Templar Strikes, we already talked about that. So I can tell you what it is though. Crusader Strike loses a charge, but now strikes twice. Basically, your Crusader Strike is more powerful. It's nothing else. It's radiant damage. I guess that's a change. Yeah, it always critical strikes. Yeah. Boundless Judgment no longer causes judgment to generate an additional holy power. So that was like just too much holy power, I guess. Divine Wrath is now a 2-point talent that increases event duration by Avenging Wrath or Crusade. It says or Crusade on the talent tree by 2 to 4 seconds. So that's the one that's in the middle of the talent tree, and we don't take it because of our Radiant Glory. Radiant Glory, which is next, no longer has a chance to activate Avenging Wrath for 4 seconds on holy power spent, and now functions with Divine Wrath. So you don't get the random procs, which is fine for me. I never get good procs for this. But instead, it does work with this, so you can just extend the length of it. So this also means that we're going to be playing Radiant Glory for the foreseeable future, which actually a lot of you seem to like. So, maybe that's a good thing. Blades of Light, now a 2-point talent. Crusader Strike Judgment and Blade of Justice to deal 10 to 20% increased judgment. So more, again, it's like a lot of it's like trying to give a lot of more agency to our builders, but they're like, but we also want to make sure your spenders are big. So I'm not sure how that's going to work. Judge Your Executioner, they've changed this talent once again. It's now a capstone talent after execution sentence that causes your next 2 holy power abilities to refund their holy power. We've had this before as a tier set, so this is like getting a tier set baked into our talents. Empyrean Legacy now causes your Avenging Wrath to empower your next single target holy power to cast Divine Storm. Now a 3rd gate talent. I don't understand. It now causes your Avenging Wrath to power your next single target. I get it because it's like it's going to be a nice burst for your execution sentence or whatever. Like that's the idea of this, and it's like always going to proc into your execution sentence because you're going to use your presumably. So you're going to use your Wake of Ashes or your execution sentence Wake of Ashes. Then if you're Templar, you're going to use your Hammer of Light. So does that count? Single target holy power, and then will the Hammer of Light cast it? If so, then that's kind of what they're trying to go with there. Not sure if it deserves being that low, but in the talent tree, it's like way at the bottom now. Crusade is now a passive talent that causes Avenging Wrath to grant haste, increasing 2% per holy power spent. Avenging Wrath up to 20%. Now a capstone talent after Empyrean Legacy. So wait, so now, wait. So you still get the crit from Avenging Wrath. So that's actually good. So that there's again some of the damage. So you're gonna notice a lot of talents are changed or gone, and so a lot of our damage has to get baked in other ways. Holy Flame's been completely changed. Does nothing for Divine Storm. It's no longer a choice node. It just does the single target part of it. Art of War, auto attacks 50% chance. It was 20%, so it's less chance. So they give us this new ability, but they lower the chance of it. I don't know if I like that. Critical strike chance increase by 15%, was 10, so they try to like give damage back that way. Rush of Light critical strikes from holy power generators grant 5% haste for 10 seconds. So critical strikes from holy power generating abilities. Okay. Final verdict. Secondary effect has been updated. Now has a 50% chance to reset the cooldown of judgment. Templar's verdict damage increased by 25%. Divine Storm damage increased by 25%. So yeah, they're just baking our damage. So they're taking our damage out of talents that we had, and putting it into the abilities. So I'm kind of fine with that. Blade of damage, Blade of Justice damage reduced by 50%. However, and that's obviously because they're trying to make it all this other stuff without it being overpowered again. So my feedback here would be, if you have to do this, so you're like, oh, we're going to nerf the crap out of Blade of Justice, but then make Blade of Justice do all your stuff. Just don't do that, right? Make the execution sentence do something with the Apex talents. If you're going to nerf the crap out of Blade of Justice, then don't then be like, oh, but now Blade of Justice does all this cool stuff. It's like, that doesn't feel good. Like, you want your strong ability to feel strong. You don't want your weak ability to be like, oh, but it's actually sneaky strong. I don't know. It just doesn't feel good. What they've removed is Aegis of Protection. They removed Crusading Strikes, Divine Arbiter, Divine Auxiliary, Divine Hammer moved to Templar, Executioner's Will, Final Reckoning, Guided Prayer moved to the class. I didn't see it in the class talent tree, but that's good. I was hoping they wouldn't get rid of that. I did not see it there, but that is good if it's there. So I thought they just got rid of Guided Prayer. Guided Prayer is the one that when you get low health, it casts a free Wog on yourself, or to Glory on yourself. So that's good. They got rid of Inquisitor's Ire. That's the one where your Divine, if you don't cast Divine Storm for a while, like empowers it. They got rid of Justicar's Vengeance. So wait, did they get Justicar's Vengeance? Is that the one that gives us range? Did they get rid of our range? I didn't see that when I was going through the thing. No. What's Justicar's Vengeance? Oh, right there. That's just that ability that nobody uses, the one that heals yourself. Light Celerity, Searing Light, Shield of Vengeance, move to the class tree. It's not really the same ability though. And Vanguard's Momentum has been removed as well, which is Hammer of Wrath damage, that does kind of suck for Herald of the Sun. We can look at the hero talents, I guess, really quick as well that affect us. There's not many. Actually, there are some. So let's look at this real quick. Herald of the Sun, new talent. Walk into Light. You have a 100% chance to gain Blessing of Anchi and generate 2 Holy Power after casting Avenging Wrath. So again, it gives you some damage right as you cast your Avenging Wrath. So you're going to use your Wake of Ashes. You're in Herald, so you don't have, Divine Hammer or whatever. You don't have your Templar, or I can't even think of what it's called, Hammer of Light. So you're going to use your Divine Storm, and then I guess you're going to need to Hammer of Wrath immediately, and then it generates 2 Holy Power, Divine Storm, etc. New talent, Endless Gleam. Dawnlight's duration is increased, but they like trying to take a little bit from a tier set. New talent, Born in Sunlight. Dawnlight's critical strike chance is increased. That's good. Blessing of Anchi may now accumulate 2 charges and now increases the damage or healing of your next Holy Shock or Judgment by 50%. It was 200%, so it doesn't do that too much anymore, but it does have 2 charges, which is good because it can proc really quickly. So having 2 charges is not a bad thing in that case, and you could just spam it. Templar, new talent, Seal of Templar for Ret. Templar's verdict damage increased by 15%, so that's some of the more single target damage that we're missing, made up into that, right? The single target damage that we're missing for Herald, presumably is going into the Blessing of Anchi there, or Ansha, maybe it's pronounced. New talent, Divine Hammer, move there. It's not the same, but Divine Toll summons hammers that spin around you for 8 seconds. Now passive. There's no extension that I can see on it. New talent, Light's Judicator, Imperial Hammer deals 20% increased critical strike damage, and critical strikes have a 50% chance. I'm pretty sure this is from a tier set. New talent, Divine Exaction, Divine Toll cast 2 additional times. So it's just single target damage. Endless Wrath's been updated. Imperial Hammer has a 10% chance to critically strike. Wrathful Descent now deals 50% of damage to nearby enemies when it critically strikes. It was 100%, so it's not as good cleave. And Sanctification now increases the damage of Imperial Hammer by 5% per stack, and it was 10%. So Sanctification was nerfed as well, moving some of the damage away from the Imperial Hammers themselves, and again, into the actual abilities. So that's kind of where we're at with this. The class talent tree, again, I would pull it up really quick, but there's just a bunch of question marks, and it's something I had to go like deal with in the last video that I tried to make before I saw this article. But basically, your Shield of Vengeance is like down here where Shield of Crusader is. And it says Shield of Vengeance is cast when you press your Divine Protection. So I don't know if it's a separate button, or I don't know how it works. So you're either going to want to always use your Shield of Vengeance. If it's still a separate button, you'll want to use your Shield of Vengeance first and then your Divine Protection. That way it doesn't proc them both. But if you're about to die and you don't have bubble, you could press your Shield of Protection and your Divine Protection and also get your Shield of Vengeance. That's kind of how it works. I didn't see where they put the Guided Prayer, but that's somewhere in here. There's basically just a lot more talents over here on the Paladin side. It seems like not a lot more, but all these little holes are basically like filled in. It's just like straight talents all the way down. So yeah, my thoughts on this overall, I was a little bit more down on it when I only looked at the talent tree on Wowhead, with all the question marks and stuff, and was just going off of the tooltips than I am after reading this. This actually has a lot of good things in it. You know, I think I pointed out some things that I didn't like as much, but it has a lot of good things in it. Obviously, I like the Divine Hammer being moved to the Templar thing because that was my suggestion, and I'm really glad that they did that. But yeah, I think it's interesting for sure. Obviously, until I get to play it, which I don't have the alpha, so I won't know for sure until I get to play it. But it seems promising. Like I said, I like a lot of the ideas behind it. And we'll see how it actually plays out. I personally hope we can maybe get a switch on the Apex talents. I don't know. I like the idea of it, though. But I think if you're going to do that, then Blade of Justice, you can't have it be like a low damage ability. It needs to be like, oh, Blade of Justice is super powerful now. And that's what's causing this big earthquake of a line of power or whatever it is, right? I don't know. That's my feelings on it. Other people may disagree, and that's fine. But I wanted to hit you guys up with this first. There's so many videos to do. There's so much information coming out right now. It's actually overwhelming for one person to deal with, I feel like. But I wanted to get this ret stuff out first and look at these new talents and stuff, and kind of see. And real quick, what's on Divine Resonance? Divine Tools cooldowns reduced. That really wouldn't help us too much, the cooldown reduction on it. So you might still take Resonance even though it's changed. Basically, passive Holy Power is gone. Your actual just abilities of Final Verdict and Divine Storm just do a lot more damage, and you know, we'll see how it goes, I guess, right? And if it's good or bad. The changed execute, probably the highlight of this, and we'll end it on this, is probably the changed execution sentence, to where when you're AoEing with your execution sentence on the target, it's taking damage from those enemies around it. That's probably the biggest change. And that's like also very good in theory, right? It makes us prio target demons, makes us funnel amazing, right? Like think of arcane mages and their funnel, and that's kind of what this feels like. So that's it for this one. I'll probably have a lot more videos coming. You know, Alpha's going to go live, and there will be Paladins playing, and I'll be able to at least watch them play or look at their talent trees and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll have a lot more stuff coming. Again, it's a bit overwhelming. As always, if you could subscribe to the channel, that helps me out a lot if you're not already subscribed. If you are already subscribed, I encourage you to check out the Patreon link down below. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.